What's up, guys? We're almost in Nashville, Tennessee, and I took a rest because I was absolutely tired. And wifey over there, she is holding down the fort. You guys see? Look at that. It's good when you have a wifey that can tow. Let's see what she's doing for fuel economy. Okay, it's not too bad. Man, 70 miles an hour average, huh? Man, you over there rolling, ain't you?
The speed limit 70.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. That means you're going 80. But yeah, I wanted to discuss with you guys something real quickly. So, you guys know I have a 5-inch exhaust, right? If you're looking to obviously do weight loss program on your truck, one thing I will tell you is this: when you're under load, the muffler that you can get for like 300 bucks ain't gonna do much. Now, when you're unloaded, it does make a difference. Now, I'm gonna show you guys something really quickly. So hopefully you guys can hear the drone right now, right? So watch this. So I'm gonna lock it in the 10th gear. So you guys hear that drone? If I drop it down to 9th, come on, drop down. We'll drop it down to 8th. Actually, because we're going only 70, if you drop it down to 8th, it does take away all the drone. Now, if you're going 80 miles an hour, 9th gear is the sweet spot when it wants to jump into 10th gear. So just something to consider. But yeah, I almost wonder, so when you're running about 80 miles an hour, you guys know I have my iDash Pro promo code down below if you want to buy one. You guys see at 70 miles an hour at 1450 RPM. When we're at 80, we're at like 1700, which is actually a good number. Sometimes if I'm unloaded, it'll be around 1600. As I said, when I drop it down to 9th, it just completely takes away that drone. And I actually like the idea of hearing the exhaust now, because I almost wonder if when you're dropping it down a gear, is it taking a little bit of strain off of the engine and transmission? That is a very strong possibility too. So something to consider. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section, all you techie guys out there who know more about these things. Obviously you guys know these GM diesel trucks have a 342 rear, and that does help the RPM to run a lot lower at these higher speeds, because you know it's really nice to have 35-inch tall tires with the 342s, because again you're running at a low RPM. Because in some cases, like if you were to get a 6-speed Allison with the 373, you'd probably be around 2100 at 80 mile an hour. And I almost wonder if these lower RPM could potentially be causing strain. So just something to consider if you are doing, you know, heavy towing and your truck does want to use 10th gear, because right now it's utilizing 10th gear. So we're at 1450 RPM at 70 miles an hour, and you don't hear the drone from the exhaust as bad as you were earlier. So I don't know. That's the part of this where I'm trying to figure out, is this something that we should be looking at? Maybe we should be dropping down to 9th gear or even 8th gear. 8th gear, we're at 8th gear is too high. So at 75, you switched on me, by the way. She switched on me. Now she's going 75, but at 75, 9th gear, we are at 1640 RPM. So just something to consider. But overall, the truck's doing fantastic for fuel economy. My wife, she's not trying. Are you trying?
No.
Yeah, I actually know the answer to that, because I try to go to sleep, but you know, you're rolling over here. But yes, I think that in the future, I will probably upgrade my muffler to something a little bit better, because it's nice, obviously, to have options. So I do know there's some options where you can do just a straight pipe, or if you want, you can switch it to a muffler. I can't remember what it's called. Someone mentioned it and I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. But overall, the truck's doing great. We've driven over 1,000 miles. You know, before this trip, I've had about, 500 miles of just driving around town. I try to drive as much as I could. That way, I could just, if I had any problems, I could catch them before this trip. But the only issues we've had so far is actually not even related to the truck. Is with the tires So you guys saw a video before this one about me being a big baby about my tires, and I figured it all out, but regardless of it, it's still frustrating. So yeah, but yeah, once we get to Nashville, we're probably gonna just stay there the night. We actually slept in the truck. We ain't doing that again. See, when I'm by myself, I do that. When they're with me, it ain't worth it.
It's not really sleeping.
It's not. It's really not. Yeah, and of course at a truck stop, it's just loud. It's a lot of lights, and yeah, I do it by myself because I'm by myself. I don't mind. But when you have your family, you just gotta suck it up and just spend the money at the hotel for sure. Now it is 67 degrees outside, and I would try to show you guys right there. You see the temperatures? You guys don't have the Banks trans and oil pan. Transmission is so happy. You guys know that I decided to get the Banks transmission pan, and I ran the AMSOIL ULV. The transmission is so much better. I wish I would have done this years ago, but I don't know if they had the transmission pan when I was looking, but regardless, I wish I would have done the AMSOIL for sure. But the temperatures, I mean at 67 degrees, we're pretty much going uphill. We're at 640 for elevation right now. That's what my bank says over there. And coolant is actually at 183, by the way. Engine oil temp, the pan is probably helping about 7 degrees. I've normally seen it like around 204 to 207. So I won't say that the oil pan is like a huge difference for temperature, but it does work. And the biggest benefit obviously is you get all that oil drainage out. That's the biggest one. But the other thing is you get more fluid. So I like that part of it as well. And of course I have the oil bypass too. But I wonder if you guys can hear the drone. Like the drone is definitely pretty bad. But it's not this way when you're unloaded though. It's only when you're hooked up to a trailer, because had I known it was gonna be this loud, I probably would have bought something just before this trip, because I'm shocked that she's taking this so well. Like I would have thought she would have been like, I'm flying home. But nope, she hasn't said anything. But yeah, hopefully we get this fixed in Florida. I have a tire shop out there that so they can get my tire for me, and then that way I can use my tire pressure monitoring system again. So when you do have a tire low, it pretty much knocks out the entire system, which sucks. And I don't know why GM did that, because I still wouldn't be able to see the other 4 or other 3 tires, obviously. But it's all good though. But yeah, this is just a quick video I wanted to do. Trip is going amazing. And yeah, we tried to hit some Cenex, but we didn't have a chance to find some that had the premium diesel. So I learned something new today. Cenex doesn't have premium diesel at every station. So this is something to look forward to in the future. I am going to try to find one on the way home for sure, because I do want to see if there's a difference on that. But yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I am going to be doing a whole rundown of all my fuel economy, so stay tuned. We're going to see how the truck's doing, but again, no issues. Thank you DieselR Corp for a great tune. The truck is reliable. Over what, 1,500 miles? Let me see. So for total trip, 1,315 miles, 11 MPG towing. And you guys have seen in the past how this trailer, you know, does for fuel economy. I had a black 2023 GMC Sierra 3500. My Ram, I've done cross-country trips with those trucks. And, well, not cross-country, the GMC I did, but with the Ram I did from Maryland down to Florida with that trailer. And I got, at best, like 8.7, 8.5. Sometimes 7 was like was a number I saw. And you know, we're not trying, and the goal here is just to put it in cruise control and just keep rolling, and that's what we're doing. We're not trying to hypermile it. And this truck is getting phenomenal fuel economy. My wife is even impressed by this. You know, we're saving money on this trip, because in the past I would spend $2,700 on fuel, but with this truck we're getting such good fuel economy.
Even though we've hit like high winds and
that's true.
Had incredible like 8,000 elevation and grades, things like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah, with the high winds, we were like at 55 mile an hour gust, and it's cold outside. Diesels do a little bit worse for fuel economy, but I was still getting like 10 and a half. So yeah, the truck is doing absolutely amazing. And would I do it all over again? Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to give you guys a follow-up on the last video that I did. You guys see we're home again, so I'm just kind of adding this into this video. But I had an issue with my tire. Les Schwab does have road hazard tire and wheel. So when I bought my new tire, you'll see that video really soon. I went on ahead and kept it. And when we got back here to Utah, I gave the tire to Les Schwab and they actually refunded me the cost of the tire, which is really cool. So really appreciate that. But I still stand firm on what I said. They are not clear at all. And I feel like they kind of play games. It's just from my experience so far. And what I mean by that is the green stuff that was in my tire, that when I was losing air, you guys saw a bunch of green stuff on the side of my trailer. And they said that that's what they use to balance the tires. Now, I never asked for that option. I would have liked for them to say, hey, we have this or this. And then that way I could have decided what I wanted. So again, not being clear. And again, when I got to Les Schwab, regardless of what some of you guys think, I don't feel like I need to look at my paperwork when I've already called in asking specifically for this tire. I gave them the exact tire that I wanted. I said, hey, can I set up an appointment so I can get these tires installed? And that's why we put it out a few days so they can order the tires. And when I got there, they didn't put the tires on. So again, I decided to keep the Advantage tires. They were willing to work with me and give you the Goodyear tires. That wasn't the issue. I decided because I'm a YouTuber, why not see if these tires are any good? And then in the future, you know, we'll get some updates on whether they're tires you should use on your trailer. So we'll have to see. But with that being said, I'm going to show you guys about 1,000 miles, just under, for the drive so far, so you guys can see the actual fuel economy compared to the computer and the variances, all that good stuff. So obviously my truck doesn't use diesel exhaust fluid, so I don't have to account for that. So figure every 1,000 miles, you're probably gonna spend about $20–30, give or take. Just depends on how expensive it is. It's typically like $4.50 is what I normally see on average. So let's go ahead and check that out, and then that'll pretty much end the video. So here is the first 3 fill-ups. It's just under 1,000 miles for the trip so far. And you guys see, this is what I purchased. And I wanted to explain the second fill-up here. So what we did was we had to stop for a few things. So I wound up going ahead and just topping off my fuel. So I basically had to put together 2 fill-ups basically. That way I could show you guys the actual gallons and then the mileage. I didn't reset the trip. I just obviously just purchased extra fuel. And then this was the total mileage I got. And then the total cost for both fill-ups there. And here's what the computer was getting for all 3 trips. And this is basically what my computer was giving us. So it is pretty much lower. And I think that it's because of my map sensors. I think I told you guys that I cleaned them with a brush, like a very fine brush, because they were so dirty I could not get that crap off. That's why I recommend, if you are thinking about buying one of these trucks brand new, just go ahead and get the relocate kit, because I might have potentially damaged them maybe, because in the past I've always been higher on the fuel mileage. Now it's possible that my tune and all the upgrades are affecting my fuel economy too for the trip. So for now we'll just have to wait and see. But obviously this is still really good fuel economy, and the variances is not that much. I mean, we're only about 0.6 off basically. Now you guys see we're averaging about 10.5 MPG. That's real at the pump. I am topping off too. I wait 30 seconds, top off. That's pretty much what I do every time. And you guys see the cost. We've only spent $330.50. No DEF, obviously, because we don't have to worry about that. So this is really good stuff. Only purchased 92 gallons. But I think I probably spent somewhere in the neighborhood of like $2,000 in fuel, basically, on this trip. But you'll see all that in the future here. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. See you guys soon.